one team will play for a state title. Will it be 2000 state champion Pleasant Plains, or will Bureau Valley improve on back-to-back third-place finishes? Find out next on the IHSA TV network. It's March Madness Extreme style. We've got one team already playing for a state title. That will be the Heron Tigers tonight. Who's going to go up against them? Will it be Bureau Valley or will it be Pleasant Plains? Hello and welcome to Carver Arena in downtown Peoria. The Bureau Valley Storm, what a great job by Brad Bickett. They lost All-State of Ruben Slock, but they are back here against all odds. And they will take home a trophy for the third straight year. No Class A team's ever done that. Pleasant Plains just missed out on making a third straight trip. They lost in the Super Sectional a year ago. They won an overtime game last night and outlasted Cinderella Bloomington Central Catholic. Those two teams face off next for a trip to the state championship game. Here for the call of the game, Jim Albrecht and Matt Taphorn. Gentlemen.
On the short one, he's Matt Taphorn. You know, there's a lot of talk about cloning these days, and it looks like we've got a cloned basketball team here today. Bureau Valley and, of course, the other ball club, Pleasant Plains, look like they mirror each other in so many different ways. First, let's take a look at how Bureau Valley got to the semifinal round here at the Peoria Civic Center. It wasn't easy against Byron, took care of Princeton, had to come from behind against Yorkville, and then, of course, took care of Providence St. Mel with a strong first half, and then held on to the second half situation. As far as Pleasant Plains is concerned, the Cardinals had a squeaker early against Virginia, and then of course against Central Catholic, as Lee just said, another OT. So they survived 2 OTs in 4 games, and the other team had the basketball at the end of regulation, so it's been fairly intense. Matt, let's take a look at the key players. There's so many on these clubs, but we'll start with the man who runs things for Bureau Valley.
Bureau Valley, Phil Endress, averaging nearly 16 points a ball game, had 22 yesterday in the quarterfinal game, 7 out of 10 free throws. Also led the team with 8 rebounds and 4 steals. He's Mr. Do Everything for their team, runs the point, runs the show on defense. Really one of their senior leaders. He, along with Adam Gutschall, was a star yesterday. Really need to have another big game in the semifinal.
And of course, both these teams so well balanced. You could take just about anybody and say, hey, if this guy has a big game, he might be the difference. And Edmondson could be one of those guys for Pleasant Plains.
Absolutely. John Edmondson, a junior at 6'5", takes some of the pressure off of Jordan Roth. Jordan Roth, one of the seniors, the all-state player, 20 points yesterday in a big ball game, 10 rebounds. He's the guy in the middle they need to get some production out of. Really not productive from three-point range yesterday, though, and that might be a key for today's ball game.
Well, speaking of keys to the ball game, there's so many. We expect a very tight game here, but everybody's got to fill a role, and that includes Mr. Oberle for Bureau Valley, who was off the mark from the floor yesterday. They'd like to get him back going.
And again, with Jordan Roth and John Evanson both playing well, Oberle's performance wasn't as critical. Today, they need something out of him on the Bureau Valley team, between Gutschall and Endress, however. Patience versus the press. One thing Pleasant Plains will do is put that full court press on. Central Catholic had problems with it late going yesterday, and they also need to get on the boards.
Quickly, we go to the points that have to be made by Pleasant Plains, starting with points from the outside.
Yeah, we talked about the threes from Jordan Roth, the rest of the team as well. They need to get some points off of their press. They have that full court press and need to slow Adam Gutschall down. He was very productive yesterday in the quarterfinal ball game.
Well, Heron is in. Will it be Pleasant Plains or will it be the Storm from Bureau Valley in tonight's championship game? We're about to find out. Let's go to our public address announcer, Paul Herzog.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Illinois High School Association and the City of Peoria, welcome to America's original March Madness. Today's semifinal game in Carver Arena features the Cardinals of Pleasant Plains and the Storm of Manlius Bureau Valley. Let's meet the starting lineups. For Manlius, at forward, a 6'3" senior, number 12, Adam Gutschall. For Pleasant Plains, the 6'7" senior, 15, Jordan Roth. The other forward for the Storm, the 6'4" junior, 40, Nathan Koning. The other forward for the Cardinals, a 6'2" senior, number 40, Ryan Sunley. At center for Bureau Valley, a 6'2" senior, 42, Greg Cooley. At center for Pleasant Plains, a 6'3" senior, 54, Joe Miles. At a guard for the Storm, a 6'1" junior, number 10, Reed Oberly. At a guard for the Cardinals, a 5'10" senior, 21, Joey Altsmeyer. The other guard for Bureau Valley, a 6'3" senior, 32, Phil Endress. The other guard for Pleasant Plains, a 6'5" junior, 25, John Edmondson. Head coach Brad Bickett in his 12th season, 7 at Bureau Valley, a record of 151 and 57. Head coach for Pleasant Plains, Cliff Cameron, his 7th year, 4 at Pleasant Plains, a record of 114 and 17. No other state in America can claim the rich history and traditions been generated by March Madness in Illinois. March Madness is an IHSA.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups for both of these mirrored teams. For Bureau Valley, Adam Gutschall had a great game yesterday. Koenig had a good game as far as assists were concerned. Cooley chipped in with 7. Oberly's got to get going today. And, of course, Endress runs the show for Coach Brad Bickett. Pleasant Plains, Roth, he was in the three-point contest, so you know he's good from beyond there. Sunley, Miles, Altsmeyer, of course, is their leading three-point shooter, and Edmondson rounds out the top 5 for a very balanced team. I don't remember, Matt, watching two teams that almost look like bookends. I mean, you go one player on one side, one on the other. This is like a bookend basketball game.
You can almost put different uniforms on the players. They would fit into the same system without much guidance. They play that similar type of a defensive and offensive concept. The one difference you might see between these two teams is Pleasant Plains will tend to pressure you more full court than Bureau Valley. Bureau Valley is content to drop back in their 1-3-1 trapping defense and create turnovers out of that, whereas Pleasant Plains will try to pick you up full court.
The Cardinals almost had a blowout yesterday against Cinderella, and by that I mean their tire went flat in the 3rd and 4th quarter, but they got it back together, won it in overtime. Of course, Bureau Valley handled Stanley Gaines in Providence St. Mel last night with a big first half. So here come the Storm, and here come the Cardinals, and welcome to the final semifinal game on the IHSA television network. It is controlled by the Cardinals. That is Edmondson with the basketball, and now Altsmeyer. Altsmeyer has hit 83 threes this year already. Edmondson finding a slashing lane and hit it.
And that's the type of play Edmondson did a great job with yesterday in scoring 14 points in the quarterfinal ball game, slashing to the basket. Nice little touch off the glass.
He averages 11. He's off on the right foot. They drop it down low and kick it right back out. The jumper is not there for Koenig, but on the other side, Edmondson tries and doesn't get it. Back to Edmondson, hanging from 8, gets the side of the backboard, back up, and won't go. Rebound controlled by the Cardinals.
Bureau Valley had some great shot attempts. That time Gutschall kept it alive, and Endress fell short on a couple of attempts.
Sunley forcing the issue inside, and he is called for the charge.
Boy, from my angle, it appeared that the defender had slid underneath him that time, and the official was kind of shielded on the play, and we can kind of see the contact there. Koenig did a good job of holding his ground and drawing the charge.
Lots of body contact in there, and it goes the way of the Storm of Bureau Valley. As you know, they finished 3rd in 2 consecutive trips. They want to get beyond that mark. Contested out front as Altsmeyer plays good D. Gutschall, he's the heart and soul. He gets a shot rejected. Here comes Roth in a hurry. Nice cross-court pass. It is up and not there for Sunley, but this time he'll go to the free throw line. Pleasant Plains has the first basket of the night, and Pleasant Plains, of course, representing the middle eastern part of the state, and Manlius about 50 miles north of Peoria. Sunley buries the first free throw. Now, Sunley's got the most experience on this team, Matt. 3-year starter, started some games when he was a sophomore, of course, and that means he knows what it's like to help win a state championship.
Yeah, he was on that 2000 state championship along with Dusty Bensko, the all-state product.
Long jumper. Alsmeyer gets his 3 going. And we got a timeout. Brad Beckett, who doesn't like the way this thing started. 6-0. The Cardinals. Let's take a look at where both of these teams hail from as far as counties and city population. Now, we mentioned yesterday that Manlius is one of the towns that sends their kids to school.
There's not just 52 other people in town.
No, that is not correct. And of course, Bureau County, Sangamon is the county and the conference for Pleasant Plains. So as far as school enrollment, we're just about dead even.
Great action here in the early going by Pleasant Plains. Both teams surprisingly have come out in a man-to-man defense. Let's see if in this timeout, Bureau Valley tries to switch up their defense a little bit and create some offense out of that defense.
Both of these teams, we get back to that mirror philosophy. Both these teams lost all-staters last year to graduation. And here comes that full-court press, Matt, and they run this well, and we've got a try.
Yeah, an unforced turnover that time, but just a little token pressure down the floor by Pleasant Plains created that turnover. And out of the timeout, it didn't appear that Bureau Valley was ready for that press, even though I'm sure they talked about it in their pregame routine. Just weren't ready for it out of the timeout.
They're trying to get it down low to Roth. Roth will spin it over across the lane, and not there for Miles. Miles doesn't shoot a lot. This guy does. Not there. Roth will back off instead of picking up a silly foul off his missed shot.
Roth had a good look there from 3, just a little hard. He was able to warm up, as you said. He was in the 3-point shootout between ball games.
No. Also in the lineup, Brandon Bowman, wearing number 24 for Manlius Bureau Valley. Pressing the issue was Edmondson, but nothing there. Another one for Alsmeyer? No. Rebound comes down to Phil Endress, who averages 7 rebounds from the point guard position, folks. This is Bowman. He'll kick it across. They need a jumper and get it. They get it from Greg Cooley, who averages only 5, but came up with 7 yesterday in the quarterfinal.
Cooley was big for them yesterday. We talked about Oberly. 1 out of 9 in the ball game yesterday in the quarterfinal round. They did need a bigger performance out of him. But it's going to take somebody other than Gutshaw and Endress to come away with the victory today.
Into Roth and off the glass, and that's easy. They use their height real well as far as moving the ball around the perimeter and then finding the cutting forward.
Jordan Roth is so versatile. He can play out on the floor inside. Very good once he does receive the ball, keeping it up high and laying it off the glass.
There's another turnover. Alsmeyer with the horse race in the win.
Alsmeyer just fired right through there and picked that pass off. Poor awareness that time by Koning on the pass attempt. The second turnover in the ball game now for Bureau Valley.
And if you're looking for differences between these two teams, one noticeable difference after another unforced turnover may be speed. Maybe just not even a half-step difference, but just a little bit.
Well, and it's more team speed rather than individual speed. Bureau Valley certainly has a couple of players in Phil Endress and Adam Gutshaw very quick out there on the floor, but the entire team for Pleasant Plains seems to be more in that category.
2:30 and 3 teams go at it. Alsmeyer rims it but doesn't get it. It's coming to half court, and that's still in the possession of the Cardinals from Pleasant Plains.
Good no call on the over the back by the official as the tip out on the offensive rebound.
Go over the top, and that's too high. Of course, Cliff Cameron, the head coach for Pleasant Plains, in his 4th year, 150 and 53. We'll take a timeout. Agco, you got to drive one. That's part of this IHSA broadcast sponsorship. And, of course, sponsored by Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick. What a difference a year makes, of course, for Cliff Cameron. Last year, Cliff Cameron and the Pleasant Plains Cardinals, as you look at the Bureau Valley huddle, were pretty much everybody's darling to get on down here. And as you can see there, 3 of Friday's games were contested right to the end.
60 points seem to be the order of the day.
Yeah, that's pretty odd, isn't it?
You know, Pleasant Plains, I'm impressed with in this tournament, but one of the more impressive things that I've seen is in their quarterfinal or their super sectional victory over Macomb. I had the opportunity to see Macomb beat the #1 team in the state, Lewiston, in regional game, and thought Macomb was very, very good. And for Pleasant Plains to beat them by 16 was very impressive.
Of course, that was payback for Pleasant Plains because Macomb knocked them out in the Super Sectional last year when everybody thought they'd be down here. Endress hangs and hits. Phil Endress gets Bureau Valley back to within 5. Valley now 2 of 7 from the field. Pleasant Plains 4 of 8. Wide open underneath. And not getting it is Sunland.
A lot of action there. Aggressive block that time by Phil Endress. He's doing it all over the floor right now, and he's the guy that Bureau Valley really looks to.
In and out for Endress. Rebound, Roth. He has great body control inside, goes straight up, doesn't he?
He seems rather slight, but he's pretty lean, very strong inside, but you know, does a good job of really playing a lot of positions out there. Very versatile player for Pleasant Plains.
Down the lane,
Nice
getting
pass.
it over to the big man, Joe Miles, and he makes some pay. Now Miles is the guy who stepped up in the Super Sectional against Macomb. He hit 5 of 6 shots, and Cliff Cameron says, I hope that kind of offensive production carries on into the tournament because he came in here only averaging 4 points, but it was crunch time in Macomb, and he came through.
Great balance on this Pleasant Plains team.
From the corner, it is Koning, and Nathan Koning comes up way short and quickly down the other way. Cut him up for John Edmondson.
Great pass ahead that time by Alsmeyer. Edmondson catches it in stride and lays it in.
The Cardinals having their way.
9-point lead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
14 to 5. I didn't really expect them to put this much separation between themselves and Bureau Valley early, but hey, as we like to say, Matt, that's why we play the game.
The one thing that they've done very, very well, and we see it here in this highlight or this replay, is they're passing over the defense. Bureau Valley very effective in that half-court 1-3-1 trapping zone, and one way to beat a zone like that is to throw it over the defense and get it in the back line. And Edmondson's very good along that baseline with his scoring opportunities.
Yeah, Edmondson, of course, stepping up as the games get more important. He had 16 in the Super Sectional, 14 yesterday in the quarterfinal win against Bloomington Central Catholic. So the junior, the only junior out there in the starting 5, kind of setting the tone for next year for himself.
I tell you, the one thing I like about Pleasant Plains, they're very balanced, not only in their scoring, but also in their size. They've got good size across the front line, and then Almsmeyer at 5'10", the point guard, kind of runs the show.
You can see that the only speed bump the Pleasant Plain Cardinals hit was on the same weekend when they lost to those two teams there by 10, and they asked Coach Cliff Cameron if that was a time to readjust and get people back together in a different mindset. And he said, no, those are pretty good teams, and we just got back to business, got back to the basics, and as you can see, it paid off. There's the streaking Storm with 22 in a row, but right now, Brad Bickett doesn't like the streak that the Pleasant Plain Cardinals are on, not one bit.
The guy that's really been held in check so far is Adam Gutschall. Jordan Roth has been guarding him defensively for Pleasant Plains and really creates some problems for Gutschall because he's quick enough to move with him on the perimeter, but he's big enough to cause problems for him inside. Gutschall really got free in the game against Providence St. Mel yesterday, created a lot of problems inside offensively. Hasn't been able to do so far in this ball game.
Bowman tried to take it inside, and fortunately for him, Joey Alsmeyer picked up the personal foul. Nobody in any serious trouble here. Nobody with 2 fouls. As a matter of fact, that's only the second team foul for the Cardinals, 1 for the Storm at this point. A 9-point deficit. Brad Bickett looking for answers. There his man with the answer. The putback is up and in by Gutschall. The bad shot turned out well for Bureau Valley because Gutschall ever present on the mark.
And Gutschall did a great job of sealing out Jordan Roth to get to that ball and allow himself the easy putback.
Down low, Roth is fouled before he could go up and get that pass.
Bit of a mismatch inside. Roth has got about 4 inches on Gutschall inside. He's taken advantage of that time and drew the foul, first foul against Adam Gutschall.
Yeah, Roth at 6'7", and Gutschall, of course, sticks with most Class A players, but he's 6'3", and as you noted, losing some inches in there. Ball contested underneath the Pleasant Plains basket. Still Cardinal basketball. Don't forget, we got a third-place game in the championship yet to come today on the IHSA TV network, and we're glad to have you along. A lot of exciting games so far here at the Peoria Civic Center. We expect this one to end in similar fashion.
Bureau Valley still in that man-to-man defense, making sure they identify the shooters for Pleasant Plains and also stopping that over-the-top pass.
Alley-oop to Roth doesn't work, but he gets it back. It'll go to the free throw line. Boy, they really are taking advantage of their size inside.
That's clearly the advantage they have, and with Jordan Roth at 6'7" inside, they're just throwing it up and letting him go grab it. Nice soft hands inside by Jordan Roth. Seals Gutschall to the high side. They're able to find him close to the basket. He goes up and gets fouled from behind by Endress.
He almost got that original alley-oop to fall.
The call was actually whistled on Yates, who was in the game. Nick Yates.
Jordan Roth, here's a guy you don't want to face on the basketball court or on the baseball diamond. He's one of the pitchers that helped the Cardinals win the state title in 2000. They went to the Elite Eight on his arm last year. Hasn't committed to any colleges yet. The Ivy League was after Mr. Roth, but of course when you go to the Ivy League, you got to bring your own wallet.
That's right.
They don't give scholarships.
That's a pretty big difference.
Up top. Overly can't get it going.
Great rebound by Roth again. What impresses me about him inside is he gets two hands on the ball. That time both hands on the rebound, was able to control it. The defensive pressure by Bureau Valley was not able to knock it away.
And Roth didn't knock down a lot of points in the super sectional game, but he said, so what? You know, I got my 10 rebounds. I dispersed the basketball. It's not all about points.
That's the great thing about this Pleasant Plains team is they've got so many guys who can contribute. And here Alvesmeyer with a three.
He got a look, and he made Bureau Valley pay, and that's the biggest lead of the afternoon at a dozen. And now you've got to count on Phil Endress to do something wonderful, but he doesn't. And the rebound comes down to the Cardinals, and Endress in his desperation after the missed shot picked up the personal.
Endress, you can sense a little bit of frustration out there trying to get his game going offensively. He's 1 out of 8 from the floor, 0 for 4 from three-point range. Just has struggled, and with Adam Gutschall out of the game now coming back in, don't really have a lot of offensive options out there for Bureau Valley at this point.
Along with Gutschall back into the ball game is Greg Cooley. Brandon Bowman, one of the men for Brad Bickett, sitting down. They just need some offense right now. I'm telling you, when you give up almost 20 points in the first quarter, you're going to have some problems. I think they call that looking uphill. Miles inside again.
And again, a great job. They're not putting anybody up on the ball, so it's easy to look over the zone, and that's one thing that Pleasant Plains has done an excellent job here in the first quarter of just getting over the top of the zone.
And I don't care how you cut it, big advantage not only on the scoreboard for the Cardinals, but for the entire game as Endress is fouled, because yes, Bureau Valley can come back, but they're going to have to exert a lot of energy, and so already you've got to put the positive side, the check mark, on the Cardinals side.
And the difficult thing about playing Pleasant Plains is they've got so many guys that can do the damage, whereas Bureau Valley has a couple of guys they can go to and count on. It's harder to guard when you have that many options.
Thomas Suki into the ballgame now for Pleasant Plains. You saw that dismal shooting percentage for Bureau Valley, 3 of 13. Here's a pass inside, knocked away.
And Pleasant Plains much more successful, but they've getting all their opportunities inside. A lot of layups. They're 8 for 13 in the ball game. Only 2 out of 5 from three-point range. 1 out of 6 for Bureau Valley. We talked about the ability to make some threes. Neither one of the teams really lighting it up, but with the layups that Pleasant Plains is converting on right now, they've got this 14-point lead.
Alsmeyer does have 2 trays in his back pocket. Endress hanging, hit it. That's a tough angle to hit it from, but he got it down. And now Bureau Valley's got to play a little mind game, Matt. They got to say, you know what? We got to forget about losing the last 2 semifinal games down here. We got to get that out of our mind, because 3 threes or 3 third places in a row would be great, but you can't even let that enter your mind. Along the baseline, we got a foul down there. It'll go against Cooley. Edmondson got a quick first step and took advantage along the baseline.
Edmondson's a great-looking player. He's, for a junior, handles the ball very well at 6'5". Haven't really seen him shoot from the perimeter that much, but he does like taking the ball to the basket, and he can finish.
And he's only made 3 threes all year. This guy has made over 80, but he misses that one. And good hustle by Edmondson, and it's saved by Bureau Valley.
Tried to save it in off of the Bureau Valley player and missed him on the turnaround.
The Storm want to end this first quarter on the up note. They don't want to give this one up with no points and then have the Cardinals go down and nail one. Baseline interest again, in and out. There's Roth with a rebound, and here comes the Cardinals with the last shot.
Jordan Roth now with 6 boards, really doing the job on the glass for Pleasant Plains. And again, defensively against Gutzall. Gutzall only has 2 points on that offensive rebound putback. He's really shut him down in the first quarter.
Will the lead be 12 or more? Altsmeyer walks. 3.3 seconds remaining on the clock, and that'll give Bureau Valley at least a shot here. They've obviously practiced this play. Almost had a bit of a power outage here at the Peoria Civic Center.
I wonder what's going on outside that may have caused that.
A storm inside and outside. That ball wasn't close. We're back with the second quarter. Advantage Cardinals here early, 21-9 over Manlius. We're back after these local messages.
We're back at Carver Arena, 21-9. Pleasant Plains leads Bureau Valley. Let's face it, all right? The wave is dead, all right? This is way better than the wave. Ben Erickson, Bureau Valley, let's show them. Ready? Here we go. Best cheer ever. Lean to the left, lean to the right. Stand up, sit down, fight, fight, fight. Lean to the left, lean to the right. Stand up, sit down, fight, fight, fight. Lean to the left, lean to the right. Stand up, sit down, fight, fight, fight. Lean to the left, lean to the right. Stand up, sit down, fight, fight, fight. Yeah! Way better than the wave, guys. I've been looking forward to this since last night. Back to you.
I knew Lee was going to get his aerobics in one way or the other today.
That's great, Lee. You got to put your red jacket on and go over to the other side of the stadium now and do their fight song.
How to get rid of those lunchtime brats. Brought to you by Lee Hall. Bureau Valley will have possession here as we start the second quarter, but their shooting woes continue. They're 4 of 15 coming in. Gutzall tries to get inside. He's stripped. You're right. Here they come the other way. Roth with an angle. He'll stop. They need to jump out on Altsmeyer because he's feeling it. 83 of 174 threes. That's 48% from beyond the arc on the year for number 21. So once he feels it, look out.
Bureau Valley trying to get up in the face more of the Pleasant Plains offensive passers to not allow them just to pass it over the top. That's what they were very successful in that first quarter.
Sundley goes down low. Roth has nowhere to go but out to the Mr. 3.
That's a good spot to go right there. Inside out action. The defense collapsed in. Jordan Roth, great recognition. Got the ball back out to Altsmeyer. He's 3 out of 6. We talked about 48%, 50% here in the ball game so far.
15-point deficit now for Bureau Valley. And they've got to be feeling just a little desperate, not overly desperate, plenty of time left, but still, they just haven't been able to get anything going inside. A whistle along the baseline and a foul against Pleasant Plains.
Going to be on Sundley, I believe, his second. One thing that Pleasant Plains does a great job is of team defense. If a guy's beating on the play, they'll help out. We saw Gutzall get stripped the last time down the floor.
Tomasuki will come in, and again, here come the Cardinals after good D.
And the shooting woes continue. It must be a cold storm because they're at 25% now.
Bureau Valley packing it in. Altsmeyer's making them pay.
Wow. He's feeling it. They're giving it to the hot hand right now. And a great job of running the offense and giving some open looks. They want to ride it as long as they can. And he's getting some shots and getting squared up and stepping right at the line. Poor defense by Bureau Valley.
And Andrews throws it away. We haven't had a blowout here in the first 5 games of the Elite Eight, but this one is threatening to be just that. With the storm howling outside the Peoria Civic Center, the storm is docile inside.
And Bureau Valley now with their 6th turnover in the ball game had 7 turnovers in the entire game yesterday against Providence St. Mel. Just to have a lot of unforced errors here in this game today.
What does this do to a team's confidence? I mean, they're about 21 minutes away from going into the championship game, and they've got an 18-point lead. You got to be feeling pretty good about things at that point, but you can't forget about the moment, can you, man?
Well, better defensive recognition that time, and if you can get some steals defensively, create some offense, that's going to at least give you an opportunity.
Guts all out front, causing a whistle with his defender. Alvsmeyer might have taken a elbow to the lip. There you see a good shot of Cliff Cameron in his 4th year.
Alvsmeyer's been dropping the threes down. They tried to drop him down that time with an elbow to the chin, but good no call by the officials, just part of the incidental contact in the ball game. Nobody ever said basketball wasn't a physical sport.
Man, I'm telling you, the Storm just keep doing silly things.
One thing to consider, and this always impacts the team that played in the last game on the Friday night. They've got a later time that they're finishing up. By the time they get cleaned up, get back to the hotel, by the time they get back to bed, it's 12:30, 1 o'clock, and they're on an emotional high. And it's tough to come back from down from that and go to bed. These guys look a little bit tired here in the first half of this ball game.
Joe Miles with the miss. Endress playing a little catch with Bowman. Now he'll put up a very difficult runner. I don't know if that was an alley-oop. I don't think so, but it caught nothing but air molecules.
Endress really struggling. 2 for 11 from the field.
Another 3 by John Edmondson.
Edmondson wanted to prove to me that he can shoot from the outside. He did it there. Just great team play on the offensive end by Pleasant Plains.
Well, this will take some job of coaching for Brad Bickett because his team is down by 21. The Storm subdued. We're back after this timeout. Bradco Supply Corporation is proud to be a sponsor of this year's Illinois High School Association State Basketball Tournament, the home, of course, of America's original March Madness. These companies in Aurora want to say the best of luck to Pleasant Plains and Bureau Valley. And at this point, Matt, the luck would be welcomed by Brad Bickett, the coach of Manlius Bureau Valley, because he hasn't had anything going with his team on the court so far.
Well, his team's not shooting the ball very well, only 24% right now. But, they haven't been able to get inside, get some easy layups and looks at the basket. Great defensive effort by Pleasant Plains.
The Storm have hit a season high of 87 and a season low of 45, as you can see, and I don't think 45 will cut it here today.
Well, there's a lot of time left, and one thing to keep in mind, we talked about this all day yesterday. These teams got here for a reason. They're good teams. Just because they might have a slow spurt during the game, they can still turn it up and turn it on and put up some points.
What you're saying is they don't have a panic button in the locker room.
When you get to this level, you don't.
Gutsall. That's the kind of shots they're making him take, forcing the issue. And here comes Alvsmeyer all the way down. Got it! And they go to the free throw line.
Alvsmeyer at 5'10", 160 pounds has a very strong upper body. He does a great job pushing the ball up the floor, drawing the contact here, and getting the ball up off the glass and in. Just a great performance here in the first half by Alvsmeyer. 16 points to lead the way for Pleasant Plains.
And he might have chipped a tooth on that previous play where somebody threw an elbow. He was on the bench not far from me, and I've never seen a guy smile after he chipped a tooth. Usually, you're kind of like, oh, no, but he's on a roll and he's smiling. He can get the tooth fixed later. Is he too old for the tooth fairy, you think?
Well, it's on the it's on the bottom row. Hey, careful, my kids might be watching.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, I believe in the tooth fairy, sorry. Here comes Endress. What they've got to do now is not that. Alvsmeyer again with the race. Goes across the lane. Doesn't get it, but it'll go to the line. And Roth was there to finish up if it didn't draw a whistle.
Boy, and Endress right now is just beside himself. He's been in this state tournament environment the last 3 years. This will be his 3rd year, and started as a sophomore. And I've never seen him play this way. It's kind of disheartening to see a guy of his caliber put kind of the performance together, but he's a quality kid. He can put it back together in this ball game yet.
Up to this point, we've got an everything that can go wrong, could go wrong, is going wrong situation for Bureau Valley, and everything that can go right is going just that way for the team that sank the free throw there. 33-9. Are you kidding me?
And Altsmeyer hit 1 out of his last 3 free throws, so maybe that's a new defensive strategy. They'll send him to the line instead.
Nick Yates, number 44 in the ball game for Bureau Valley, as Brad Bickett just tries to mix it up, see what he can get going. Jake Montesmith, number 30, also in there. Here's a long jumper. Von Holton also in the ball game. He missed that jumper, and here comes Pleasant Plains. I mean, if you go into the locker room trailing by 30 points, I don't know. That bar's on miracle territory, Matt.
It's not impossible, but it certainly is dejecting for the team.
Inside the rim. Pass from Miles. Joe Miles, the 220-pound center, sitting up top, just waiting for somebody to cut.
Pleasant Plains does a great job of spreading the floor, get guys on the outside, stepping up to the three-point line, and then the high-low inside to Jordan Roth. Roth keeps the ball up high, as I said before, and picks up the foul, and he'll go to the line for the three-point opportunity.
Missed at the line.
Right now, Pleasant Plains has a better percentage from three-point than they do from the free throw line.
Overly way off the mark. He didn't even get it up there. Plains has the storm rattled. Miles trying to do a little fancy move underneath the hoop. And we've got a foul against the Cardinals.
Foul will be on Altsmeyer. I believe his 2nd foul. Again, leading the way with 17 points here in the first half.
Sunley will come in and give Altsmeyer a rest. Altsmeyer, there you see the high game for Pleasant Plains, and they're definitely on track for that at this rate. 94 and a season low against Breeze Mater Dei. A lot of subs in there for Manlius right now, and even that's not working as we go the other way with Sunley, who will pull up and wait for Mates. Along the baseline, what a move, but he didn't get it to fall. But Sunley's back with a putback. Fortunately for Bureau Valley, it doesn't fall.
And that was that slashing move that time by Edmondson. He came up a little short, but Sunley, good offensive rebound, kept it up high. He was short as well on the putback.
Nick Yates is fouled on the post. Edmondson will pick up the personal.
Bureau Valley finally get to the free throw line on a 1 and bonus opportunity.
Brad Bickett.
No, it's
right
only
there.
the 16th foul. I'm sorry.
I was about to say Brad Bickett, of course. This is serious business, but here's an inbounds pass. Again, knocked away by Pleasant Plains and controlled by Roth.
Every loose ball right now, Pleasant Plains is getting their hands on.
Everyone. Matt Bryant, number 30 in the ball game, with the basketball right now. Bryant only a sophomore. Cliff Cameron saying take him. Down low, what a pass. And Edmondson will go to the free throw line. Boy, they're just cutting, and they know where everybody's at, don't they, along that baseline. Once they get the ball anywhere near the perimeter, it's right down low.
Pretty good block inside by Yates, but he did get the body that time as Edmondson again working on that baseline. He just feeds off of that. He's been very productive here. 9 points in the first half. We'll go to the line to 2 shots. And that's been a weakness for Pleasant Plains here in this ballgame. 4 out of 9 from the free throw line. And that's not characteristic for this team whatsoever.
Suki checking in, and Joe Miles will check out.
As a team, they shoot 77% and only 44% here in the first half.
And the Bureau Valley fans got to feel some kind of semifinal curse going on right now. You know, when you get down here into 3 straight semifinal games and you lose them, and then in the 3rd one you're down by a bigger margin than you've ever seen at state, at least for the Storm. Here's Endress, and he gets it taken away on the wing. Edmondson, well, just about everybody on Pleasant Plains is playing great D right now.
Wow. Edmondson with 10 turnovers, the team with 10 turnovers. Edmondson playing the point has at least half of those.
That's Suki up top. Altsmeyer had the real hot hand, and he's on the bench with 2 fouls. Edmondson forces, doesn't get it. Ball thrown back up, and it's controlled by Koenig. He's going to take it, you can tell, and he doesn't get it. And the rebound is contested as Suki goes up high with Gutschall.
Good job that time by Suki. Keep his hands on the ball. Was strong going after with Gutschall to tie up. Possession will go to Pleasant Plains. And again, Endress came up short on that shot off the glass. You can see Brad Bickett, head coach for Bureau Valley, feeling the pain as his star player is 2 for 12 from the field.
Ball almost tipped away. Sunley in trouble in the corner and fouled. He's fouled by Endress, who can't believe it. And that'll be 3 on Endress. So things just keep getting darker for the Storm. No light at the end of this tunnel, at least at this point, Matt. 1:26 remaining here in the first half, and Pleasant Plains has just come out on fire.
And the free throw woes continue. I'm just amazed that the team is shooting this poorly from the free throw line. Even if they shoot their normal percentage, they're up in this game by 30 points.
Yesterday they were 13 of 22 against Bloomington Central Catholic. Free throws are about one thing, aren't they, Matt? Repetition, repetition, repetition. That's all that's about.
And it's not just their team either. Every team yesterday we saw did a poor job from the free throw line.
Bowman. As you can just look at the way the offense is just looking confused. They just can't find anything. Oberlin finally finds a 3 and gets him off that 9-point snide. Reed Oberlin, who had 63 three-pointers coming into this tournament.
And now the defense from Bureau Valley in that 1-3-1 set, extending it out, trying to create some pressure defensively.
Tell you what, this Bryant knows how to handle ball for a sophomore. They'll just wait for the final shot. Why not? They've got nothing to lose, even if it doesn't go in. They're up 35-12.
Good pass.
I would say so, but a bad result. Sunley back.
He wanted a 3-point shot, 3-point opportunity.
Sunley almost got a little bit too far underneath the hoop that time, but stay with it. And free throws with 30 seconds remaining here in the first half.
There's a nice looking pass inside by Matt Bryant, as you said, the sophomore. He and Edmondson were playing out top. A couple of underclassmen for Pleasant Plains. Wow.
Let's just run that comment you made about free throws about a minute ago again. Well, if there's an Achilles heel on this team, and it might show up tonight in the championship game, it might be right there at the free throw line. But we still have a lot of basketball yet to play. Plains is going to have to go stone cold in the second half, though. They're almost going to, you're in a situation now where Bureau Valley needs some help. I mean, they can play as much D as they want and hit that hole on the offensive end, but they're going to need Pleasant Plains to fall out of their rhythm. Cooley contested. Everybody's contested. Overly along the baseline. Nothing there, but he is blocked. A blocking call.
You know, the one thing that we haven't talked about much in this first half, with a 24-point lead for Pleasant Plains, 16 seconds to go. Jordan Roth, their all-stater, only has 4 points. And, he mentioned in the super sectional game, didn't have a big game then, but it doesn't really matter. They've got so many weapons on this team that they distribute the wealth.
Altsmeyer coming back in. Sunley back in.
Good substitution here, knowing that they have one possession possibly here left on the offensive end.
Joe Miles out, Matt Bryant out for the Cardinals. And the thing is, we kind of anticipated a very rowdy crowd here today, but the rowdiness gets taken out when you got this kind of spread. I mean, Bureau Valley's represented here real well by their fans, as they always are, but it's kind of hard to make noise when you're feeling a loss coming up.
Great pass.
Jordan Roth closes out the first half after the great pass out front. It's 38-14. I'd love to hear what Brad Bickett has to say at the half, but in just a second we'll hear what Cliff Cameron has to say before he heads into the locker room. He'll be standing by with our Lee Hall. Well, there is no definitive moment in this game. It's been Pleasant Plains from the tip.
Well, Jordan Roth finally with the lay-in there. That's one thing they've done very well, is gotten good looks at the basket, shooting 54% in the first half.
Lee Hall, let's see what's happening with the winning coach at this point.
All right, guys, thanks a lot, Coach. That might be as dominating a first half as we've ever seen in a state semifinal game. You guys didn't do anything wrong.
Well, we played an awful good half. You know, sometimes you just don't know what makes a team click. Whatever it is, I'm sure happy that it came on a day like today. You know, these guys are playing ball the way I know they could, maybe even better than I knew they could. You know, Joe Osmeyer just seems like he's unconscious out there with the shooting and driving the ball. He's very lively out there. He's very quick. So I can tell he's feeling very good. You know, we're executing very well. And you know, I still, no matter how we do offensively, I still think the key in a game like this is defense and rebounding. So I'm very happy the way we're being aggressive. And that's what it takes. You've got to come out here with confidence and be aggressive, and that's what we've done so far.
Jim and Matt were talking about your team speed, team quickness. It looks like you might have a little bit of an edge there.
Well, it looks like. After watching them play last night, I was kind of worried about their overall size and athleticism and their quickness. But, you know, we looked the match up pretty well, or maybe a step quicker than they are at some points. That's just a half. I'm very happy with the first half, but we got to come out and do a good job the second half, too.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck second half. Jim, back to you.
Thanks, Lee. We'll be back at the Peoria Civic Center and take a look at some numbers which are startling for one team and dismal for the other after these local messages.
And welcome back to Carver Arena. 38-14 our score here at the half. Pleasant Plains dominating Bureau Valley in the first 16 minutes. And we are with a Pleasant Plains fan from way back, Ron Reiser. You've been to state tournaments before following the Cardinals, going back to 1977. And tell me about that year.
Well, that was a real year. That was one of our first years to experience going to any super. Well, 76 we was at a super. We got sick, boys sick. We didn't make the grade that year, but being there just helped us to make the stepping stone into what we're into right now. And it seems like it just straight. You can just step from one year to the other just by what you gain by being in one of those super sectional.
Now, I should point out that you had a special interest in those teams. You had two sons on that team.
That's right. I had Tony and Tim. One was a senior and the other a junior. But we also had a lot of other good players on there. Ron Roberts, Dave James, Timmy Cowan, and Dave Powell. It was all great, just a great ball club. Wasn't big. We was only like 6'1", 6'2", but we could sky with them, you know.
Yeah, tell me about the memories you bring from those days and with you here. You were here a couple of years ago. And it doesn't seem like that long ago. I'm sure 77 doesn't seem that long ago to you.
No, it doesn't. We was very disappointed last year that we didn't make it back with one of our stars, which was Dusty Bensko. He's gone on to other things, but baseball. But we really was down last year. But I think the boys picked up and gained from that loss, and that's why we're here now. And you look at that score. That's what it is right now. We're playing for that championship game tonight, you know.
I want to ask you if you've got a theory on this. It seems like through the years we see certain towns repeat and come back here, even after maybe, you know, that almost a 20-year absence there between 77 and then a little more than 20 years, I guess, than a couple of years ago when you won the state championship. What is it about Pleasant Plains that makes it such a good basketball community and school?
Well, I think it all goes back to it's just a good school system, and we have good coaching. It starts down in the grade schools and follows right on through. We had a coach that we lost in Kastner that set up this man-to-man defense, and we've been playing it, and the boys have just, I don't know, just kind of rolled off of it. And it's really, we have one of the best presses I ever saw in high school basketball.
Yeah, you're a little biased, but I'd have to agree with you today, Ron Reiser. Thanks a lot. Good luck to you. His Cardinals looking real good here after 16 minutes, 38-14. We will be back with more coming up after this local break.
It's nothing but plain as the nose on your face. It's all Pleasant Plains right here this afternoon in the semifinal game, which we thought would be so close that it would go down to the final second. And that's not saying Bureau Valley cannot come back, but there are hills and then there are mountains to climb, Matt, and they've got a mountain.
Well, and part of that mountain is that the front line that Pleasant Plains puts out there, very big, very strong, versatile, and it's created a lot of problems for Bureau Valley out there. Adam Gutshaw and Phil Endress really have just not gotten off on their game whatsoever.
When you've got a scoreboard reading 38-14, you expect the stats to reflect that, and they do as we go to the numbers here at halftime. As far as Pleasant Plains is concerned, they are on fire. Look at that shooting, 14 of 26. Now within that 5 of 23 for Bureau Valley, 2 of 9 from the three-point line.
Well, and 2 for 12 for Phil Endress, the guy that leads them in scoring with 17 a game, or 16 a game. But 54% for Pleasant Plains, only 22% for Bureau Valley. Out rebounding Bureau Valley, as you might expect, and assists 11 of 3. They're distributing the ball more and getting the ball passed around. 5 for 14 from the free throw line. That's got to be something they improve on if they're going to be the champion in this tournament.
And the Cardinals are better from the three-point arc. They're 5 of 9. Let's take a look at the turnovers. As you'd expect, Bureau Valley has had trouble out front. Blocks, nobody's getting any of those, but steals, 6 already for Pleasant Plains, and the foul situation isn't helping Bureau Valley either. Alberley leads the way for Bureau Valley, but it's Mr. Alvsmeyer who has had everybody buzzing here at the half. He got the stroke going early with the 3, and then it was look out.
Yeah, and on that graphic there, you see Endress with 4. Gutshaw's not even on there. He had 23 yesterday. He only has 2 points. And the other on Pleasant Plains, Jordan Roth, we talked about it. He's got 6 points, but Alvsmeyer and Evanston just had a great performance in the first half. Just shows you the versatility their team has offensively.
Yeah, and yesterday against Providence St. Mel, Gutsall got inside, did damage, no damage today. We're back after these local messages. A storm is howling outside the Peoria Civic Center. Lots of wind, but no win on the horizon for Bureau Valley unless they get it together in a hurry. Right now, let's see what Brad Bickett had to say at the intermission with his Bureau Valley Storm. Lee Hall?
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Brad and I were just joking here about that. I mean, it's laugh or cry, isn't it?
Yeah, that was enjoyable. I tell you what, not a lot you can do. They were making plays. They just out-executed us. You know, we got to get better. We got to get it to 12 or less, and going into the fourth quarter, we're going to give a shot. Our kids won't quit. Coaching staff's not going to quit. 12 points is the magic number going into the fourth. If we can get it back to that, we'll have a shot to make some plays down the end. Our kids got a lot of courage.
All right, Brad, thanks a lot. Brad Bickett, there you hear it. The magic number is 12, so they got to make up 10 points here in the next 8 minutes in Coach's estimation. Back to you.
Thank you, Lee Hall. We'll hear more from Lee, but let's go to those highlights, starting with the few that we do have from the Storm.
Hendricks was able to come off a screen there and knock down a jumper, only one of his 2 buckets. But Greg Cooley was able to connect from the 3-point range, only 3 of the 14 points of the first half. And again, Hendricks, one of his baseline jump shots, able to knock that one down. But the guy who did the damage for Pleasant Plains was Albsmeyer, both from the scoring and the passing arena. That time Edmondson lays it in. Albsmeyer, you missed him from the corner of the screen there, but knocked down a big 3 for 3 of his 17 points in the first half.
We'll be back at the Peoria Civic Center after this timeout. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, and neither does Cliff Cameron, the head coach of Pleasant Plains. But when you play 2 games in one day, Matt Taphorn, and you've got a situation where you can rest some people, as Pleasant Plains does right now, I mean, if they can continue to maintain this margin, they can set people down and rest them for the championship game. That's huge.
Well, it is, but the problem you don't want to get into is a situation where you rest guys too early,
right,
and it allows the other team to come back. Heron almost did that in the last game. They had to bring their starters back in the game, both Wills and
Mr. Algie.
Mr. Algie, that's correct, is back in the ball game late, and they made it a close game down the stretch. It was only a 1-possession game at one time because they pulled those guys out too early. So it's something you don't want to pull the trigger on too soon.
Overly pulled the trigger, but misfired. And that's a great thing about a state tournament. I mean, you've got all of these kids who work all year long. They play their hearts out, but you know, it's a game, and sometimes success occurs here, and sometimes the opposite occurs. This guy's been having a lot of success. Albsmeyer, as they work it around the baseline.
Nice
Find a wide open Miles. And that's pretty much where the lead is right now.
Edmondson was originally going to make that pass back off to Roth, and at the last second dumped it down inside to Miles for the easy lay-in.
Gutsall, who's been shut out down low, and that's why. Great defense.
Really frustrating for Gutsall. 1 out of 4 in the ball game. Just hasn't had a very good look at the basket.
Cutting and not scoring this time was Sunley, but the putback is there by Roth.
Roth got very long arms inside at 6'7". He's got about a 7-foot wingspan in there. Does a great job of getting the ball and keeping it up high just for the lay-in.
Long jumper, not there. Greg Cooley remains cool. I don't remember a 30-point lead working down here. I haven't seen one for a while, but now it's 30.
Edmondson, I just love him as a player. He does a great job being unselfish around the bucket. Little layoff that time to Miles for the easy touch off the glass.
You know, I know there's never a time that most coaches relax when the game's on. I mean, they're always coaching. But this is as close as Cliff Cameron will get to relaxing. I can tell you that. Gutsall inside.
Oh, I'm sure he'll never relax. That's just the nature of being a coach. But a little unforced turnover that time. Only 4 turnovers in the first half by Pleasant Plains. Just did a great job of keeping control of the ball, even though they were really trying to push it offensively in transition.
They led it 38-14 at the break. But I don't care what kind of game Phil Endress ends up having here today. I'd take him on my small college team any day because he was a player. And now we've got a jump ball situation. And of course, it must be Pleasant Plains Day because everything goes their way, even the arrow.
Jordan Roth has been the defensive stopper for Pleasant Plains as well. He's guarding either Gutsall or Endress. Endress playing the point. He got 6'7". Jordan Roth guarding him down the floor.
Bureau Valley trying to put up a little bit of half-court defense here, but again, that height comes into play for Pleasant Plains. They just go over the top of it.
Well, they extended a little bit that time to more three-quarter pressure. For Pleasant Plains, again, like you just said, they really look over that zone to try to find the open man.
And they look underneath, and Roth is fouled. Well, you know, I take it back about Cliff Cameron relaxing. He just jumped about a foot off the deck here when that ball didn't go down. He wanted that ball to fall.
Absolutely. They really executed that play to perfection. Jordan Roth was wide open underneath the basket, just fouled enough to make that ball roll out of the rim.
Jordan Roth. That's what I love about Class A schools. You know, many times in AA, and it's not their fault. It's just the way sports are going. They play one sport. You know, they concentrate on one sport. You get a guy like Jordan Roth, and he nails it in baseball and basketball. The other way they go. Koenig. Will Oberle find his stroke? Yes, he does that time.
Second three-point shot for Oberle. He's 2 for 5 in the ball game. All 5 of his attempts have come from behind the arc.
Easy does it. Back and forth. Over the top of this pinching zone. They just go right down to the big guy. Miles can't convert this time, though.
Miles didn't take it up very strong, and that time got bumped by Oberle and kind of backed off on the play.
Inside to Gutzall, who turns, finds a defender in his face in the form of Sunley.
And there's Jordan Roth right on Phil Endress as he gets the ball on the perimeter.
Good defense. There's a long jumper by Koenig. Not there. Rebound Sunley. Good defense by Oberle, who got a hand on that. It's loose on the deck, and we'll have a jump ball situation.
Great hustle by both teams there.
We got a timeout on the floor. Not much has changed. The Cardinals still cruising. We'll be back after these local messages.
We're back at Carver Arena. The Cardinals up a bunch, but their fans are still fired up. Now, we did a really cool cheer with Bureau Valley, but now we got to give a little equal time to Pleasant Plains. Okay, they're trying to instruct me on how to do this. All right, are we going to do this? Hurry up. Let's go. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. Come on, Pleasant Plains, let's go. Shooby-dooby-dooby-doo. Oh, 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 oh. I tell you what, I'm getting quite an education over here, guys. Back to you.
You know, I think Fred Astaire just turned over in his grave. You know, I think he did. Fans are fired up. So is Pleasant Plains with a shot from who else?
Everything's working today. That time Joe Alpsmeyer put it between the legs of the defender Koenig. Edmondson was able to get it from behind the glass. Still got the roll in off the board.
Out front, no luck. But the tip is there.
Tipped in by Jordan Roth.
I think they'll
Koenig
give it to Koenig. Yeah.
Another good no-look pass.
Yeah, Sunley, man, he knew exactly where he wanted to go once that ball got to him.
Edmondson, it's 6'5", the versatility he has out on the perimeter to be able to look over the defense, and not a very large defense either. Rio Valley doesn't have a very big team out there. He's able to look and spot Sunley and Roth down on that baseline.
If some of these starters do get a rest, it'll be obviously in the fourth quarter as Coach Cameron, well, he's going to give a couple of guys a blow right now. And look at all the substitutions coming in from Manlius Bureau Valley, just about everybody.
Well, Coach Brad Biggett wanted to try to close the gap to 12 at halftime. It's not quite working out that way.
Yeah, he said if we're down by 12 when the fourth quarter starts, we'll be where we want to be. Well, he's still miles from there, and Cliff Cameron actually sat down a couple of minutes ago. I know that's hard to believe, but he actually sat down. He's a guy who stands up most of the game. Suddenly clears, and look out. Here comes Almsmeyer. What a nice move, a hang and a hit.
That's a great move. Good body control that time by Almsmeyer. Realized he wasn't going to beat the defender all the way to the basket and pulled up short for the little 5-foot jumper. Almsmeyer's first 2 points in the second half after leading the way with 17 points in the first half.
There's a long jumper from the corner. It's not there, and the rebound comes down to Suki. And don't go away, folks, because we got some exciting action right after this game, the slam dunk contest. You were a finalist for that in high school, weren't you, Matt?
I had 2 dunks in my high school career, so I'd have to say no.
Guess what? That's 2 more than me. You lead in the broadcast category. Lee Hall, of course, will be bringing you that slam dunk contest, and air creativity is what they call it. Andrus. You got 3 players coming in for Pleasant Plains too, as the rest.
We get Roth and Edmondson both coming back in the ball game. So Coach Cameron not willing to accept victory yet. Wants to make sure he manages this one all the way down to the stretch.
Well, Stephen Brown, wearing number 20, also coming in to get some PT for Pleasant Plains. He's a 6'1" senior. This place is as quiet as I've heard it all weekend long, and you know why.
Very quiet. And Bureau Valley and Pleasant Plains are 2 teams that really create a lot of action and excitement in the crowd.
Hendricks 1 against 4. Will get a couple of free throws for his efforts. He had such a phenomenal game yesterday, Andrus did. 22 points, 8 rebounds, and of course, Gutsall, as you noted, Matt, had 23, and they were the 1-2 punch, as they have been so often for Bureau Valley, but both are seemingly punchless today because of the great D by the Cardinals.
Combined 8 points between the 2 of them today. And really, Andrus hasn't had many good looks from the perimeter, and that's a credit to Jordan Roth. And, you know, suddenly those kind of guys have been guarding him out on the perimeter.
Look at this hustle by Roth. He makes the steal, looks for his mate, but that one is intercepted, and then back comes Bureau Valley. Andrus looking and getting it taken away by Stephen Brown.
Whose turn is it to turn it over now?
Coming down is Matt Bryant, that fine-looking sophomore for the Cardinals. He looks pretty cool for a sophomore.
Well, I guess it's Edmondson's turn.
Yeah, Edmondson bounced it off his foot. And even when you're the winning team with this kind of score, the intensity leaves a little bit. You get out of some of your rhythm, and that's just human nature.
It does tend to, but the thing that I've been impressed with Pleasant Plains in this quarter is they've extended their lead. They weren't complacent with that 24-point halftime lead, and they've extended that out to 31.
Look at this steal by the sophomore. Here comes Bryant. Count him up.
Little unorthodox left-handed roll from the right side, but it still counts the same as the scorebook.
Yeah, we don't have any Russian skating judges here giving points on degree of angle or anything. Roth will force it, and he'll be fouled. Jake Montesmith picks up the personal foul.
A little sloppy action both ends of the floor right now. Bureau Valley now with 16 turnovers.
At this point, Bureau Valley is looking at another third-place date. They'll take on Unity. Unity came back a huge lead at the half by Heron in our first semifinal game, 24-8, but Unity never goes away. They just hung in there, and Heron did finally pull it out in the final couple of minutes with some free throws.
Pleasant Plains has all 5 non-starters in the ball game right now. Coach Cameron would really like to rest his starters for the championship ball game this evening.
Here's a shot from the baseline. 2 misses on this trip down. Jamie Kleimenhagen into the ball game for Pleasant Plains. He wears number 12. Also in there is Andy Crompton wearing number 5. You got a lot of subs out there. As a matter of fact, you have all subs out there.
Tom Suki called for the foul on the reach in, trying to defend the pass into the post. His second foul and team's second foul as well this half.
You know, they say that basketball builds character. They say that about sports in general, Matt. And this is when you got to show your character. When you're down by a seemingly insurmountable point total, but you got to keep playing. You don't get sloppy. You don't forget about your sportsmanship. You play the game.
Well, and I think what Coach Brad Bickett's done in this situation, they're down 33 points, about a minute to play. He's getting some of his younger players an opportunity to play in this environment, especially in a semifinal game. They're headed for the third-place game, probably more than likely here with the fourth quarter you have to play. But he's getting these guys some good experience. It's a tough game for Phil Endress and Adam Gutshaw to sit there on the bench and watch, but maybe he'll save them up a little bit for that game this evening.
Jamie Von Holten got 2 to drop on that last trip down by Bureau Valley, the junior. Getting some state experience, as all these Bureau Valley players have had. Having made 3 consecutive trips to the Peoria Civic Center. They'll just hold for 1. Bryant. Oh, nice.
He's a good looking sophomore. He is. Nice move inside.
In a hurry the other way. It's Overly. Overly kicks it on over. It's off the side of the backboard. Nick Yates couldn't get it to fall, and the third quarter is mercifully over for Bureau Valley. 56-23 Pleasant Plains, getting ready for a little championship action. We're back after these local messages. Welcome back to the Peoria Civic Center and the IHSA television network. Storm warnings canceled. Well done from the fans' point of view. I hope that's the way it is outside too. I hope that storm warning is canceled. Now, you know that young guy there?
No, I don't.
I thought you knew all young people, man. You have so many children at home. I just thought, you know, you got a crowd going. Cardinals are using Brett Oswald, number 42. He's in the lineup right now. Also in the lineup, number 44, Curtis Nelson. This, of course, Mr. Sophomore out front. Michael Lucchese, number 10. Here's a jumper, not there. Ball tipped around. It'll be controlled by Manlius. Justin Von Holten brings it down, and Overly gets it over to Jake Monosmith, and Jake is going to be called for the charge.
Just lowered his shoulder and ran right over Suki. Good job by Suki, moving his feet to the baseline. Really cut that off and was able to draw the foul.
Let's take a look at those numbers after 3 quarters, and they pretty much remain consistently down for Bureau Valley. 25% shooting from the field, and not a bad day for Pleasant Plains. You know, they shot 50% yesterday.
They actually improved in the third quarter at 64%. Now shooting 57% for the ball game.
And we've said this before, but Pleasant Plains, they couldn't have imagined they'd be able to rest their starters the entire fourth quarter. That's just something you don't think about. And we've got a traveling violation out front, but that is exactly what's going to happen here today. And also keep in mind, Heron comes in pretty well rested as well. A couple of their stars, Mr. Wills and Mr. Algie, they were on the bench quite a bit, so they didn't play a full 4 quarters. So we should have a very contested championship contest tonight. From the corner, Newt. Justin Von Holten with the miss. Bryant will take over.
The championship game tonight would be a tough matchup for Pleasant Plains. Inside, just the strength of Algie and Gavick really create a lot of problems, and they'll really look to try to take advantage of that size and see if Jordan Roth can combat that.
Matt Bryan lost the handle that time. Also in the ball game is Chris Behrens for Manlius Bureau Valley in the blue uniform. They go down low, and we've got a foul down there. Matt Moody, number 54. wearing the glasses, and he's getting some action down here. No matter, what happens, Bureau Valley's going to come back, and they'll be fired up for the third place game, as they obviously always have been, having won 2 in a row. But, it's about getting in the game, Matt. That's what it's about. And, hey, they'd like to stay on the bench and have their team in the contest, the Stormwood. But guys like Matt Moody at least get to tell, their grandchildren, sure, man, I was on the big floor.
This Bureau Valley team's different from the last 2 years that finished third place. In those teams, Endress and Gutschall were supporting players with a much better cast all around. This Bureau Valley team is really a 2-man team, and when you have guys like Endress and Gutschall that don't have a good game, that's where you're going to struggle.
Brett Oswald turned and burned from the baseline, so he gets a pair. The junior from Pleasant Plains. There's a tough shot that's rejected out front. Michael Lucchese got the rejection on Jake Manasmith. (58-23). You're not misreading that if you just joined us. And if you're from Manlius, like my mom is, might be time to take the reading glasses off so it's kind of blurred on the screen there, because it's unexpected, I'll tell you that.
It was an offensive and defensive clinic here by Pleasant Plains. They really just dominated this game at both ends of the floor, moved the ball very well, very unselfish team, and defensively shut down the 2 big guns for Bureau Valley.
Manasmith got that one on the floater, and you heard the coach at the halftime, as I did, and Cliff Cameron basically said, they can play good. I didn't know they could play this good. I mean, that's the kind of half they had in the first half here. Everything going well. Long jumper outside is down by Jamie Kleimenhagen. When I said the everything's going right scenario is in play, it continues. Yeah. I mean, everybody.
And it's great for a guy like Kleimenhagen to come off the bench as a senior, get some minutes in a game like this, and to knock down a big 3.
Stephen Brown couldn't get it to fall, gets his own rebound back. He's going to go back up and get fouled.
Hammer. He's laying on the floor. It's great for these guys. They may not get another chance to get in a ball game, and this is the type of situation you can get into in these semifinal games where teams realize that they need to play another game yet.
We've got a contact on the floor somewhere. Nick Yates lost it, and now we
sure
found
enough,
it.
the guy with glasses found it.
How odd is that? But of course, it works in the reverse too. If a guy loses his glasses, a guy with contacts can help him. You see, it's all about who's got the better sight at the moment. Nick Yates, of course, he'll go to the bench and be replaced here. Coming in, Josh Marlowe, number 14. Also coming in, number 20, Mike Jeslowski for Bureau Valley. And Steven Sabo also into the ball game.
Both teams going deep into their bench, giving the kids an opportunity to get out on the Carver Arena floor.
We want Stephen Brown to get one down here. You want everybody who comes in at this point in the game, in this kind of game, to at least get in the books. Ooh, that looks painful. You see, that's why I don't wear contacts. That looks painful. I'm sorry.
Don't want to have to do that.
I mean, isn't that like poking yourself in the eye?
Pretty much.
No, I know a lot of people who wear contacts. Just one of my phobias.
Brown does get the second one to drop down, so he's got 1 point.
One of many, Lee Hall says.
Where do these guys come from? They get put 3 more guys. How many more subs? They may put that little guy in the water jug.
We'll be back to tell you who's on the floor for the final 4:43. Pleasant Plains cruising to the championship encounter against Heron. Back after this timeout. This IHSA broadcast is being brought to you by AGCO Tractor. You got to drive one. And by Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick. Bradco Supply Corporation is proud to be a sponsor of this year's Illinois High School Association State Basketball Tournament. Those fine folks in Antioch want to wish our contestants here this afternoon, Bureau Valley and Pleasant Plains, the best of luck at the home of America's original March Madness. Bureau Valley back on defense right now as more reserves come in. For Pleasant Plains, we got Michael Lucchese. He's still in the ball game. Aaron Dias is in the ball game wearing number 4. Also in there, as he was before, Andy Compton. Aaron Rappaport is also in the ball game wearing number 32 as we try to keep the court menu intact. Here's a long jumper by Josh Marlowe, but not there.
The officials probably won't call a lot of fouls in this situation either. 4 minutes left in the ball game. 37-point difference.
Let's see what Lee Hall's up to with that beautiful bright blue jacket. Lee.
You know what? You need a bright blue jacket up here to see where you're going, because I found the best seat in the house right here. I know why you guys are staying up here, because it's too hard to get up here and get back down, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who are you watching today?
Storm, Bureau Valley Storm.
Yeah, well, you probably don't want to get too close to that then, do you?
No, not really.
Tough one out there. You know what? I'm still out of breath getting all the way up here, Albrecht. You might need to do this. I mean, we both need to get some exercise and work on that heart rate. I'm still out of breath way up here. Whew, back to you.
I would have bet you pulled a hammy on the way up there.
Did.
Long jumper is no good.
Oh. Save the jacket.
Aaron Dias has the basketball for the Cardinals, who hold the huge lead. Man, 37 points.
2 points in the quarter for Bureau Valley. More of the same of what's going on in the entire ball game.
Valley with a steal. And Josh Marlowe is the man who's fouled, but he won't get a trip to the free throw line because, well, maybe he will. Let's see.
No, I believe that's just the 6th team foul, so
boy, they're quick on that board, aren't
be
they?
spared some free throws here.
Yep. Don't forget the slam dunk contest coming up after this contest, and the stage looks to be already set for our championship encounter. Who will replace Pinckneyville and wear the crown? Well, it wasn't an alley-oop, but it worked just as well.
Great pass.
As Nick Yates got it to fall.
Airmailed that one over the rim.
Another steal out front, this time by Zabo. All the way down, yep.
4 in a row. They're coming back.
Well, let's just say they made the first step of all the ones that Lee Hall just made. That's about the
another steal out front.
Justin Von Holten forcing it, and he can't come away clean with it, so it's turnover for turnover. We've just been told by the medics here that Lee Hall is taking oxygen. There's a drive, and no result. I echo what you said about the foul calls.
No call, yeah. They're not going to call many in a 30-point ball game.
Yeah, not that there's a smiling Cliff Cameron. He usually doesn't smile in a ball game. Bureau Valley with a bucket at the other end. My apologies, I didn't see who made the hoop. I was looking at
Yates again.
Yates again. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yates has done a fairly good job off the bench. Got 4 points in the ball game.
Crompton contested. Does Aaron Dias want to throw one up? Yeah, he does. And he gets it.
He's looked to score offensively. Put a couple shots up. That's what you got to do. You come in off the bench. You can't look to pass the ball.
No.
That ball's got to go up the basket.
It's called taking advantages of limited opportunities. Let's take a look at some of the fine folks who are bringing you this statewide broadcast this afternoon and again this evening. Over-the-air outlets include WICC in Chicago, WSPY Plano, WAOE in Peoria. All of those cable outlets you see right there, including AT&T, the cable outlets including Falcon and Galaxy Cable Vision. Is that like tunnel vision, or is that a different thing? Cable vision and tunnel vision.
Well, as much as I watch TV, you might say I'd have cable vision or Sports Center vision.
Yeah, you got that ESPN thing going on. I know. 64-31.
Nickelodeon vision.
oh, the small children coming into play again. You know, I watch so much children's television, I think Barney is a mascot now. I'm getting confused. Going to the free throw line, it'll be Jake Monosmith for Bureau Valley with 1:52 remaining here in the fourth quarter. If you're just joining us to check out who's going to the championship game, Pleasant Plains they punched that ticket awful early, Matt. They just said, you know, this one's ours. They got on a roll, and Bureau Valley just really couldn't get the ball inside, and that decided the game early on. And of course, catching fire early with 17 first half points was Joey Alsmeyer, who's enjoying the best seat in the house right now, knowing he'll be out there for tonight's championship game.
Well, Pleasant Plains jumped down to that 21-9 lead in the first quarter. We weren't ready to concede it at that point because we had seen so many times in this tournament teams come back even from that deficit, but they really poured it on there in the second quarter, and that 38-14 point halftime lead was just too much to overcome.
Now for short guys like me, coming up after the game, it's a must-see. It's the slam dunk contest, and don't go away. Lee Hall will be bringing you all the exciting action in that contest at above the rim.
Well, one of the most exciting players in that dunk contest is a kid locally from Delavan here in the Peoria area, and he's not very tall. He's only about 6 feet tall, and I'll tell you what, he's exciting. He can get up.
So what you're saying is, I just can't jump. That's, you know, it's a matter of hereditary. It's a hereditary problem. Hey, free throw is good there by Steven Brown, and I thought for sure they'd cut into that 30-point lead at least a little bit. It's a hard lead to maintain, but they have maintained it throughout the second half, Matt.
Well, we talked about the depth that Pleasant Plains has. They're very disciplined on offense. They just spread the ball around, and whoever's hot gets the ball, and they really take advantage of what the defense gives them.
Behrens has a wide open three, and he buries it. Chris Behrens, the junior, gets three at state, and it's a 31-point game.
Chris Behrens, the brother of Mike Behrens, who played on the last two third-place finishing teams for Bureau Valley. Very effective inside player. I believe they're wearing the same numbers, matter of fact.
The way it should be. Of course, knowing some brothers, they wouldn't want to wear their brother's number, but that's not the way it is in the Behrens family. In and out. 30 seconds remaining. Bureau Valley will have to settle for what could be another third-place trophy inside the mat. Moody, and Moody gets to kiss the glass here at Peoria Civic Center. And Cliff Cameron says, take the air out, guys. We're done. We're going to the state championship game for the second time in 3 years. Pleasant Plains will be there. Will they make it 2 out of 3, or will it be the Heron Tigers who make all of Southern Illinois jump up tonight at about 10:30? It's over, 65-36. And I'm telling you, if you would have wandered around this place, Matt, and said, you know, I bet you Pleasant Plains is going to win this thing by 30, people would have kicked you out of the building.
No, coming into this tournament, I like Pleasant Plains just because of what they did to Macomb, and I had seen Macomb, and granted, some teams are going to have an off night, but they've got such great balance on their team offensively. Altsmeyer had a great first half. And Jordan Roth, the all-state player, is very versatile on the defensive end, more importantly than the offensive end. And he creates a lot of problems. And Endress and Gutschall really never got going. And a lot of that was created by Jordan Roth's defense. And you throw a guy like John Edmondson in there, just a great balanced offensive team.
Defense, 36 points, the lowest point total of the year for Bureau Valley. That says it all. You don't even need to say anymore.
Well, you shoot 30% from the field. That's certainly a problem, but a lot of that was created by that activity on the defensive end by Pleasant Plains. They've got the size and quickness. Just a great job.
Standing by with a man who lit it up early, Joey Alsmeyer, and of course the head coach, Mr. Cameron. Here is our Lee Hawley.
All right, Jim, thanks a lot. Joey Alsmeyer, some gave some and some gave all. He lost a little bit of a tooth out there today, huh?
Just caught an elbow. I mean, it happens. I don't. It wasn't intentional or anything like that.
Tell me about today's performance. I mean, it's a pretty dominating performance for a state semifinal, let alone just an average game. Is that about as well as you guys have played this year?
Yeah, I mean, everything seemed like it was coming together. We hit shots, played defense. I mean, I think we were really prepared for this. Coaches, I mean, last game we didn't have, I mean, as much preparation as we wanted. And, I mean, I think if we get the time and prepare and know what we need to do, I think we can get it done.
Tell me about last year, losing the Super Sectional in Macomb. How much of a motivator is that for you guys this year?
Oh, coming up and watching them, seeing them play on the floor, knowing that it should have been us. I mean, especially getting there in 2000 and then not coming back, it just gives you a bad feeling in your gut. You just, you know, you want success, you got to get back.
Having tasted that before, how much does tonight mean to you?
Oh, this is what you play for. This is what you put the time in. Even when you're a little kid and you come to the high school games you watch. I mean, this is the ultimate goal. This is what you play for.
Thanks a lot, Joey. Coach, let's get you in here real quick. Again, we talked at halftime about your team's performance, and just everything went right for you today.
It sure did. It sure clicked. You know, you don't know what's gonna, how things are gonna come out, but we came out in the floor today. We took it with a lot of enthusiasm. We came out and we had a lot of energy, and I just was so happy the way they played to play one of your best games up here in Peoria in the semifinal game, and to be able to get your whole team in a game like this is just remarkable. So I'm very proud of the way we came out.
Along with getting the kids that worked so hard all year a chance to get in a game and play in a state basketball finals game. Talk about getting the rest for tonight. You were able to rest some of your guys, and that might pay off for you tonight.
I sure hope it does. 2 years ago we were up here in the same game and ended up playing a triple overtime game against Riverton. So we were worried about if we'd have enough energy to come back, but we did come back and play a pretty good game. But tonight, we were able to rest the players the whole fourth quarter, our key players, so hopefully that's going to pay off. They'll be fresh legs and ready to play tonight.
All right, Coach, congratulations. Good luck tonight. Cliff Cameron will play for a state championship for the second time in the last 3 years. Back to you, Jim.
Thank you, Lee. And, of course, we are wrapping up this final semifinal game of the day. We'll be back, of course, tonight with a third-place game. And Matt Taphorn and I will be back, of course, for that championship encounter between Heron and Pleasant Plains. Can they make it 2 out of 3? Stay tuned for the slam dunk contest here on the IHSA television network. We're back after these local messages.